Texas Longhorns. Coach?
Thank you. Well, this is exciting for the week to finally be here. When you play a conference championship game and then you don't get to play again for another month, it takes a while, right? There's a process to get to that point too, but to finally make it to New Orleans, I got my beads on, feel good. I know our team's excited. We're excited to play a quality opponent in the University of Washington. A ton of respect for them in the All-State Sugar Bowl, which is a great honor in the CFP. So great opportunity, fortunate to be here, and looking forward to the ball game in a week.
A question, like we said, if you can wait for a microphone.
Coach, the way you've recruited the New Orleans area, is this starting to feel like a second home for you?
Well, I just think the natural proximity helps us. We joke sometimes on the staff, we never know when East Texas ends and Louisiana begins, right? And so from a proximity standpoint, it's very natural for us to recruit Louisiana. Naturally, we have a couple coaches on staff who do a heck of a job recruiting the state. We've been fortunate to sign some really good players that are really good on our team right now, and hopefully that can continue. We know that this state produces a ton of talent. And so for us to be able to make some inroads here recruiting and now to be playing in the Sugar Bowl, it's naturally, I think, helpful for us.
Coach, you've been in bowl games and we're in a playoff situation at Alabama a couple of years. How do you treat this different from a regular bowl game, and what have you done to maybe implement what did you learn first from being in Alabama in the playoffs like that, and what have you done to implement that this week?
I think one of the keys is you do a lot of the structural work from a game planning perspective back home, right? Because we have so much time. We kind of take a week to really implement what we want to do when we're back at home. When we're here, obviously we want to take our time to make sure that we're putting forth maximum effort to get ready for the game. But I also want to give our players a chance to experience this opportunity, experience the city of New Orleans, experience what they've earned, which is to be in the CFP. But I think our players will echo the same sentiment. We're here to play our best football that we can play to try to win a semifinal game to get into the national championship. And so I think there's definitely a workman-like mentality that this team has, but I want to make sure that they enjoy the experience as well because they've earned it.
Steve, obviously you are peaking at the right time at the end of the year. Now you're a month off. As an offensive guy, how do you keep an offense in rhythm and in sync when you don't get to play for a month?
Yeah, I think part of it was making sure that we did enough good on good in practice, especially early on in the prep, that we kept the speed of the competitiveness of what a game would feel like in a practice setting. Not necessarily to scrimmage all the time, but at the line of scrimmage, offensive linemen need to feel the speed and physicality of our defensive line. Our DBs need to feel the speed and the rhythm of our passing game because that's critical to, when that ball gets kicked off next Monday night, it's all gonna be fast. And so we have to make sure that we're playing to our tempo and to our speed. I think too, when you implement a game plan, what I've learned is you don't want to give it to them all at once because ultimately then it can become monotonous. And so we try to kind of keep giving them things as the day comes and they keep their interest really perked and on point and make sure that practice is upbeat and energetic and that we've got a lot of positive vibes going in our building and on the practice field. And I think that our guys have responded well to that.
Steve, the messaging has been pretty consistent throughout the year from yourself and the players about each week being a championship week, and you talked about the workman-like mentality. How does that help the team kind of not get overwhelmed by this atmosphere at the Sugar Bowl and really be able to be laser-focused just on the task at hand?
Well, I think one thing that's helped us this year, we've played in some pretty tough environments, right? We've had to go on the road, and naturally, playing in Tuscaloosa was helpful for us. Playing in the Big 12 championship game in Arlington was good for us. And to not be too enamored with the outside and what was going on outside, but stay focused on us. We have a simple adage, be enamored with us. And we try to keep our focus internal. And so that when the games come, It's about what we've prepared to go do and not what might be going on around us. And a lot of times when you get into these settings, the world around you is pretty chaotic, right? We talk about all the time as a team, like what's going on around us is very chaotic. We want to make sure that we're a steady sea and that we're focused on what we need to do. We're very calm when the moment comes, regardless of the circumstances, because adversity is going to strike. It's going to strike in this ball game, but us keeping our composure, us keeping our poise is going to be critical to our success.
Okay, Coach, kind of along those lines, not getting too enamored with New Orleans and the fun that you have this week, how do you – what do you need to see to know your guys are in the right mindset as you go through the week?
Well, I think that started back home. You know, when you listen to our leaders talk and when you guys get a chance to visit with them, I think their focus is already there. Naturally, how we prepare, how we practice is going to tell me a lot. What are they talking about? You listen to conversations, when we're on the bus and what's going on. But I also don't want us to be so over the top so early that we're exhausted by the time the game comes. So we operate pretty well as a group when we're loose. We have a lot of fun together as a team. But I also think that this group knows how to, when it's time to really be focused and locked in, that they have the ability to do that. And so I don't think that we need to change a whole lot. I think that we already know kind of how to do that. And so, trusting on our training to get us to this point, I think will be big as well.
Time for two more. One here on the right.
Your staff had a month to prepare for them. Their staff had a month to prepare for you.
Yeah.
Does that change how you go about things, or do you just try to, how do you deal with that extra time?
Well, it presents a heck of a challenge. Obviously a lot of what we do early on is look at ourselves first. What are our tendencies? What do we need to, where are we giving away too much in any phase, offense, defense, or special teams? Two, knowing that, Washington staff and the staff, Coach DeBoer and his crew, they're great coaches and they do a heck of a job. And so knowing that they've had the same amount of time that we've had, I think is understanding, as you navigate your way through it. But at the end, it all comes back to let's not outsmart ourselves. And let's make sure that we do the things that we do well. And let's make sure that we continue to do those things well as we game plan and put some of the fluff around it.
One final question.
Steve, since there has been finals, some off-time holidays, since y'all are back together and this is go time, is the team's focus where you want it to be?
I love where our team's at. I really thought when we came back to work, whatever that was, really getting back to it. I think it was the 22nd, end of the 22nd, but whenever that was, like a couple Fridays ago. I don't even know the dates anymore. It's been a long month. They were ready. Our guys were ready. I don't think they even wanted to stop practicing, but I knew that they needed it. We were a little fatigued by that Big 12 championship game. This was a heck of a week we just had last week. They had a few days for the holidays, and we came back the last 2 days and had 2 really good days of work. I like the mentality, so I feel good about where we're at. I know that the hay is not in the barn for us. We've got work to do this week while we're here to put ourselves in the best position to be successful.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, y'all. Thank you.
Okay.